This hearing isn't about what happened yesterday, it's about a decision made nearly a decade ago that still follows her today. Deferred adjudication sounds forgiving, until the conditions come back to test every step of your life.
Yes, ma'am. All right, state.
Judge, if I could have just some. Violation of condition number 10 in Bexar County, Texas, between the date the defendant, Rose Padilla, was placed on community supervision and the date of filing hereof for restitution, the defendant should have remitted $81,135.98, but has only remitted $2,504 in violation of.
Who's here with you? How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true. Violation of condition number 21, on or about the 17th day of June 2025 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Rose Padilla, did then and there call to complete GED as instructed by the court in violation of condition number 21.
How do you plead to that? Not true.
And violation of condition number 23 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Rose Padilla, did then and there call to make payments of $100 every 2.
Pause right here. Over $81,000 owed, and only $254 paid. Legally, restitution isn't optional, it's a condition of freedom. Miss it, and probation turns into a ticking clock toward revocation.
Weeks in violation of condition number 23.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true.
On or about the 30th day of September 2023 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Rose Padilla, departed Bexar County without the written permission of the court and or the supervision officer in violation of condition number 7.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Yes. True.
Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor.
And what are you all proposing that the court follow?
The proposal, Your Honor, was to continue on probation, extend for 1 year, and amend for probationer to pay at least $100 every 2 weeks for restitution.
Probation.
Your Honor, the original recommendation was for revocation. However, it does indicate that if the court wishes to continue to extend the 1 year, amend the probationer to pay at least $100 every 2 weeks for restitution.
This is the danger zone. Once probation starts talking revocation, the court is no longer looking at second chances, it's looking at consequences. And the judge hasn't decided whether mercy is still deserved.
How much is owed on restitution?
Your Honor, $78,775.98.
How much has she paid on restitution since she's been on since 2015?
$2,360.
All right.
Your Honor, Ms. Padilla is a waitress, and she is frankly incapable of making any other payments aside from the ones that are recommended for the $100 every 2 weeks.
All right. Why is she leaving the county without permission?
So she was, there's a healing mass that occurs in Hidalgo County on the last Saturday of every month. That's where she went. She felt called to go there. It's something that she's had a significant benefit from in the past, and so she'd heard about this mass and decided to attend that mass with her significant other.
All right. Do phones not work? Does she have access to a phone?
I believe she does, Your Honor.
Why didn't she pick up the phone and call probation and say, "Hey, may I depart Bexar County to go for this?" Because honestly, she hasn't been doing well on probation. I mean, that's why we're here. Probation is telling me they want a revocation. And in this court, normally it takes some doing for me to grant a revocation. So for probation to be asking for revocation when they know that normally if there is monetary issue, if there is a drug issue, usually I try to address those before we head down the road of revocation. So for them to be asking for revocation, that says something. So why didn't you pick up the phone and call probation and ask them if you could leave Bexar County to go to this event.
Listen closely to the judge here. This isn't sarcasm, it's skepticism earned over thousands of cases. Phones work. Permission exists. And when someone doesn't ask, the court assumes they didn't want to hear no.
You want to raise your right hand for me? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Rose Padilla.
All right, why didn't you call probation?
It wasn't a Saturday, and I thought, nothing was going to happen. Just me going and coming back.
You cannot leave Bexar County without permission while you're on probation. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, they want you to pay $100. What did you say? Every 2 weeks or how often? Every 2 weeks?
Yes, Judge.
Are you able to pay this $100 every 2 weeks, or you're just saying that? Because let me just tell you why I'm asking that question. I find that when people are looking at potentially going to prison for 20 years, if people say, all right, we will agree to continue. If you pay $500 a week, you know what people will say? Well, I'm going to call this person and I'll pay $500 a week. So I want to know, can you really pay $100 every 2 weeks? Or are you just saying this because that's the agreement you all reached? Or will you be able to pay it? If you're not going to be able to pay it, you need to let me know now, because if I follow this agreement and I get a report that you miss one of the weeks in paying, we're going to have problems. So if you cannot really pay $100 every 2 weeks, you need to let the court know now.
Now I'm trying to get back on my feet, and I think, but if I have a problem or something, like I have health issues, can I call and let y'all know that?
No, see, here's the thing. Your agreement that you all have made, regardless of what health issues you have, is that you're going to pay $100 every 2 weeks, because there's somebody out there, and I'm not the one who took this plea because this was before my time, but there's somebody out there that you owe $78,000 to. So you agreed, and your attorney agreed, that you are paying $100 every 2 weeks. So there is no, well, maybe something may come up. You've agreed that you would pay $100 every 2 weeks. That's why I'm asking this. If you are telling the court, actually, I'm not going to be able to pay $100 every 2 weeks. I was saying that, hoping that I would be able to do it, because this is the only way where maybe the state would agree not to revoke. I don't know. I'm not a part of your negotiations. But if that's the fact, you probably need to step back and talk to your attorney, and you all actually come up with a reasonable amount that you are going to be paying, no questions asked. And it should be amount that you should pay, not depending on this person giving you money or that person giving you money, because we're going to be right back here, because they're going to file a motion to revoke if you miss any of those payments. So do y'all want to step back and discuss that, or y'all want to continue with she's going to be able to pay $100 every 2 weeks?
$100 every 2 weeks.
Here's the legal trap most defendants fall into: agreeing to a payment plan they hope they can meet. Judges don't sentence on hope, they sentence on reality. One missed payment, and probation can collapse instantly.
All right, so you're saying, and you're telling the court, you're telling probation, that you're going to pay $100 every 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
And when is this going to start?
Can it start in 2 weeks, Your Honor?
When's her next pay period?
When's your next paycheck?
Maybe next paycheck. I get paid every Wednesday.
All right. So this is her first payment, then is going to be, since you get paid Wednesday, is that electronic deposit maybe, or no?
No.
All right. So her first payment, she's going to be making payments on December 7th. That should be her first payment of beginning every 2 weeks. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And since she gets paid on Wednesday, her payments should be falling on that Thursday, because she has to get the check, go cash the check, and do all of that. All right, I'll deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include $100 payment every 2 weeks, beginning on December 7th. And that's to go towards restitution. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Probation, is there anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Her case expired September of this year, so that 1 year extension, are you going to move forward with that?
Yes, extend for 1 year.
I would also like to bring up to the court that we have notification that Ms. Padilla has not reported since September. So
This is probation on a razor's edge. The motion to revoke is denied, but the leash is tight. New payments, new reporting, zero tolerance. The court didn't erase the past, it simply delayed the future.
I would ask that the court admonish her and ask her, tell her to report as necessary.
Okay, why are you not reporting?
Well, on when I got arrested, I received a text, and then I got a warrant, and then I went to go talk because they told me I needed to get an attorney or for my bond. So when I went go talk to him, and then I have the text where my probation officer texted me that I had an appointment yesterday, which I went in yesterday, and she even sent me for a UA for tomorrow. And I go, why wait for tomorrow? So I went yesterday to go get a UA too.
All right, here's the thing. Don't miss reporting. You understand?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm assuming you're required to report monthly. When do you want her to show up to report?
I'll look at the appointment book to see if it's already been put on the books for next
All right,
month.
so she's going to give you a date when you to report, and you need to report. Don't miss any reporting dates. Here's the thing. Sometimes miscommunications happen. I've already said that I'm going to continue you, so there's no need for us to go back and forth.
Yes.
As my grandmother would say, who shot John? Here's the thing. She is going to give you a date for when you report. You need to make sure you report on that date. Even if you're saying you've already reported, if she gives you a different date, you need to go report on that day. If you do not, what will end up happening is a motion to revoke will be filed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then I saw in the motion to revoke this new number 1 that nobody's going on. What is happening with that?
So, Your Honor, one that is out of county. The investigation that I've done, I don't believe it was more serious than a Class C misdemeanor. So I don't expect anything to come up. We'll certainly keep an eye on it.
All right. And is there any issue with her and UA?
Your Honor, in August, it says it was failure to submit. In September, it was a negative. I don't have anything past September because there was that lapse in reporting. So if she said she UA'd yesterday, those results will not be available until next week.
All right. Did you UA yesterday?
I went yesterday, yes.
All right. Make sure she UA yesterday. If she did not UA yesterday, then we're going to have a problem because people are being dishonest with the court.
Mhm.
So if you UA'd yesterday, she's going to check it. And then from thereafter, do random UAs.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is there anything you need from the court to be successful on this probation? All right. Do not leave Bexar County without permission. Because you're on probation, everything you do, you need to pick up the phone and call probation and request it.
Okay.
Could you waive the UA fees, Your Honor? Is that possible?
No.
End of Flashback.
All right. Will you all be ready to proceed on a contested hearing the second or third week in January? Ah. And police officers.
Judge, you said the second week of January.
Second or third week.
Yes, that's.
All right. Oh, we can bring it. No, I'll do it. It's fine. All right, what date?
It would be the 12th.
But it is a simple case. Okay, we'll just do it on the 12th. Unless somebody wants to do it now and have the probation officer zoom in.
Judge, I the officer.
All right, we can do the contested hearing now. They'll have an officer zoom in. Everybody just have a seat. We'll see if the officer can zoom in. All right, are you all ready?
We thought we had an agreement, but since and the only reason we played through is because we thought we had an agreement, but since apparently, that's not the case, so we'd like to withdraw that agreement.
Okay.
I know. Thank you, Chair.
All right, her plea of not true will stand for violations 10, 21, and 23. And you all come back here for a contested hearing.
When do we come back?
Norma, when can we fit them in for a contested hearing?
I can do the January 7th.
All right, January 7th will be your contested hearing.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, I'm sorry, does the number 23 of not true still stand, or
They're asking that that plea of true be changed to not true. Yes.
thank you.
And who is this?
It is Rose Padilla.